Hello and welcome you all to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss the phenomena of Bohr effect. To start with this, we need to learn that hemoglobin, which is the transporter molecule of oxygen and carbon dioxide in our body, is composed of 4 polypeptide chains, among which 2 alpha and 2 beta chains are present. These alpha chains are composed of 141 amino acids and these beta chains are composed of 146 amino acids. Now, if we place these two chains side by side, there is 64 amino acids in common. Now, this hemoglobin, which is a metalloprotein, are composed of heme group, which is the ferrocyan, and the globin protein can remain in two forms, that is the relaxed form or R form and the taut form or T form. This T form is the closed one. That means this T form can associate with 4 single T form hemoglobin can associate with 4 molecules of oxygen and transform into R form. Now, to describe the Bohr effect, we first need to know the oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. This curve, which is in metabolically active tissue, there is increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide and low oxygen tension. In low oxygen tension and high partial pressure of carbon dioxide, with increasing this partial pressure of carbon dioxide, oxygen and hemoglobin tend to dissociate, and with increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide and higher pH concentration, the dissociation, if we describe this event in graphical representation, this will look like this. This is at physiological pH, that is 7.4. with higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide, there is decrease in pH concentration. So, at lower pH, this curve will shift towards the right. Suppose this pH is 7.2, and with increased pH, this curve will shift towards the left, and this is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and along the x-axis and along the y-axis there is oxygen hemoglobin association percentage. So, the Bohr effect, we see the similar phenomena, which is the shifting of this curve, which is at physiological pH or 7.4, shifting towards the right at the decreased pH concentration and increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide and increased temperature, and this phenomena is known as Bohr effect. How this pH is changed or decreased, this can be described in the event which is occurred when carbon dioxide is carried towards the lung and oxygen diffuses from lung or into the metabolically active tissue. What happens that if we suppose this is our tissue which is metabolically active, in this tissue the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is very high. So, from this carbon dioxide concentration, some amount will enter into our RBC in form of carbamino component or compound. So, what happens, this carbon dioxide in form of carbamino compound will enter into the RBC and forms this H plus or the proton molecule will react with hemoglobin which is in the relaxed form to release some oxygen molecule to the tissue. Now some form of carbon dioxide will enter into RBC and react with water molecule to form H2CO3, which in turn dissociate into H plus and HCO3 minus ion, and this H plus in turn react with the Hb or hemoglobin molecule, and some conformational changes takes place inside the hemoglobin molecule to release associated oxygen molecule into the tissue. Now this HCO3 minus will react with potassium ion to form potassium bicarbonate. Now this potassium bicarbonate, during this process some chloride from plasma tend to enter into the RBC, and this chloride will react with potassium bicarbonate to form KCl, and HCO3 minus will be free. Now this HCO3 will enter into or released into the plasma. In plasma, this HCO3 will react with free sodium ions to form sodium bicarbonate, and this phenomena is known as chloride shift or Hamburger's phenomena. Now the exactly opposite thing will happen inside the lung. What happens? RBC, which is carried through the pulmonary arteriole, the RBC will contain some HHB, some KCl, and in the plasma there will be high concentration of sodium bicarbonate. Now when this RBC enters into lung with high partial pressure of oxygen and lower carbon dioxide tension, this HHB will form HbO2, and now this HbO2 will react with potassium chloride to form KHbO2 and free chloride ion. Now this chloride ion will released into the plasma, and with reacting with sodium bicarbonate, it will produce sodium chloride plus H2O plus CO2, and the carbaminohemoglobin, which is carried from the tissue towards the lung, this carbaminohemoglobin will form this carbon dioxide will be released into alveoli. From alveoli, this will be released into atmosphere. So in this way, carbon dioxide is carried from the metabolically active tissue towards the lung, and from lung this will be released into the atmosphere. So in case of Bohr effect, we have seen that with increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide, the pH will be decreased and the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve will shift towards the right. So in case of lung, there is low carbon dioxide tension and high partial pressure of oxygen. So what happens with increased partial pressure of oxygen, hemoglobin tend to remain associated with oxygen and form oxyhemoglobin. And this phenomena is known as Haldane effect. So in this video we have discussed the concept of Bohr effect and how carbon dioxide is carried from the metabolically active tissue towards the lung. So I hope you have no doubt about this concept, how the Bohr effect takes place. So if you like the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel, and do not forget to share with your friends. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.